On a personal level, as a politician, he was most known in Israel and outside Israel as a liar. Manipulator. Even here in France, former President Sarkozy was caught telling President Obama and Prime Minister Cameron of England about how much of a liar he is. And basically, President Obama then agreed with him. In Israel, he's much known as so. And if anything turned against him this last few months was the fact that most of his lieutenants, his minions, also thought that he lied and deceived them throughout the years. But politically speaking, and that's probably the more important, of course, aspect, is on a number of important issues for Israel. One, on the security issue, of course, he did not improve Israel's security. If anything, the last 2 or 3 wars under his command or leadership proved to be quite destabilizing for Israel. On the question of peace, he's the one who basically ruined the diplomatic process that could lead to a two-state solution. It's him over the last 13 years that's basically, with the help of his minions in Washington, Jared Kushner's and company, that basically destroyed the prospects of a two-state solution.
So in terms
of the nuclear issue with Iran, and again, if you look at it over the last 13 years, Iran today is better off, is more advanced in its nuclear program than it was 13 years ago. So you could say that he succeeded, but Israel failed under him. We're going to see more of the same because the Israeli military establishment will probably continue with more of the same. I think the Israeli intelligence community will continue with more of the same vis-a-vis Iran, the Palestinians, and the various Arab countries. I think we will see expansion of the illegal settlements. We will see more and more deterioration in terms of any prospects for a two-state solution. We will be pushed more and more towards the one-state paradigm, as it called, meaning that the 7 million Jews and the 7 million Palestinians would have no choice but to live under either an apartheid system, which of course should have no future in the 21st century, or a one-state solution where Palestinians and Jews live together in one democratic or binational state. Otherwise, I think for the time being, what we're going to see the government do is emphasize the economic and the societal programs in order to avoid those so-called controversial issues that could lead to the breakup of the government. And that's why I think that sooner or later this will implode, that there are more than a few contradictions in this coalition. But if you take a wider view of the Israeli parliament, Lauren, we have almost 100 hardcore radicals among the 120 members of the Knesset. So as soon as Netanyahu leaves the scene, we're going to see a number of possible scenarios of coalition governments among the radical right-wing and the center right-wing government parties. And I think that's where will things head, because the majority in Israel today are right-wing, and the only thing that prevented a major right-wing coalition to emerge is Netanyahu. There are too many people hate him, too many people think that he deceived and manipulated them. If he's gone, we're going to see Israel move further and further to the right. Anything else for the time being, I think it's going to be temporary, Lauren.